Imagine waking up one day and discovering that you can hear the thoughts of everyone around you. At first, it's subtle. A whisper here, a fleeting notion there. But soon, the world changes. Secrets that were once locked away are now exposed. Desires once hidden become painfully obvious, and every interaction carries an invisible weight. You can no longer pretend. You can no longer lie. Because everyone knows what you're thinking, and you know what they're thinking. The first moments might feel exhilarating. Imagine walking down the street and hearing the inner monologue of strangers, some mundane, some startling, some deeply intimate. People complain about traffic, debate what to eat for lunch, or wonder whether they should text the crush. And then more personal thoughts creep in. Insecurities, fears, private confessions, and moments of vulnerability. But soon, the novelty fades. The sheer volume of thoughts is overwhelming. Every crowded room becomes a storm of mental noise, a chaotic symphony of consciousness that your mind struggles to process. You try to focus on your own thoughts, but the stream of everyone else's ideas seeps in, uninvited and relentless. It's impossible to escape. You begin to crave silence. But silence no longer exists. As the days pass, society begins to unravel. Privacy, the cornerstone of human interaction, evaporates overnight. Relationships that once seemed stable are tested. Friendships fracture as hidden resentments are revealed. Romantic relationships collapse under the weight of unspoken truths that now cannot remain secret. The things people never dared to say aloud, jealousies, regrets, forbidden desires spill into the open, and there's no hiding from them. Imagine sitting in a cafe. Every patron's thoughts converge into a torrent of unfiltered honesty. The barista wonders whether they should quit their job. A couple argues silently about a betrayal that had been unspoken for months. A child wonders if anyone loves them. You hear it all, a tidal wave of raw emotion. It's beautiful in its humanity, but it's also exhausting. Every lie, every unspoken word, every hidden feeling is laid bare, and it's not pretty. Governments and institutions cannot contain this new reality. Political leaders' true intentions, private deliberations, and secret alliances are suddenly audible to the public. Corruption and deceit are exposed, but so are fears and insecurities. Society struggles to cope with this unprecedented transparency. Laws cannot legislate thought, yet the consequences of thought exposure ripple through every level of human interaction. Businesses falter as strategies are revealed. Friendships dissolve, and trust becomes a commodity more valuable than gold. But not all consequences are negative. Empathy expands beyond imagination. Understanding one another becomes unavoidable. You hear someone's grief, and your heart aches with theirs. You sense someone's fear, and you instinctively offer comfort. Deception becomes impossible, but so does true cruelty without accountability. The mental landscape of humanity becomes a shared experience, forcing cooperation and compassion in ways that words alone could never achieve. But the psychological toll is immense. Human minds are not built for this level of exposure. Anxiety skyrockets as no thought remains private. Social interactions become unbearable. Even simple greetings are accompanied by a flood of internal commentary. People retreat from public spaces. Digital devices and social media, once the tools of connection, become unbearable sources of amplified thought. The world turns inward, isolated, as minds seek solitude from the relentless transparency. On a personal level, every individual must navigate this new reality. Your closest friends, your family, your colleagues, their true thoughts are no longer hidden. Every compliment, every word of encouragement, every gesture is accompanied by the hidden context of the mind behind it. You see love and loyalty, but also doubt and envy, admiration and resentment. Every relationship becomes simultaneously richer and more fragile, a delicate balance of intention and reality. Children growing up in this world experience consciousness in a radically different way. From an early age, they hear the internal lives of others. They develop empathy faster, but they also struggle with boundaries. Personal identity becomes harder to define when the thoughts of others constantly bleed into your perception. Education, socialization, and moral development take on entirely new dimensions. Lessons are learned not just through words, but through the collective consciousness surrounding them. Imagine the criminal justice system in this world. Detectives no longer need interrogations. The truth is audible. Witnesses' perceptions are laid bare, and suspects cannot hide intent. Crime rates fluctuate as moral behavior shifts under the weight of mental exposure. Yet, with every crime revealed comes an ethical dilemma. To what extent should society act upon the thoughts of individuals, even if those thoughts have not manifested into deeds? The boundary between thought and action becomes a central question of law, ethics, and philosophy. Technology adapts. Devices are created to filter, modulate, or even block the constant influx of thoughts. Some individuals wear mental shields to protect their minds, while others embrace the openness, becoming hyperconnected nodes of shared consciousness. Communities form around shared mental wavelengths, while others fragment into isolated introspective enclaves. Society divides into those who crave transparency and those who crave privacy, and neither path is without consequence. Over time, human communication itself evolves. Words become redundant, replaced by mental nuance and shared understanding. Lies become nearly impossible. Humor, sarcasm, affection, and deceit are all encoded in thought patterns, no longer needing speech to be understood. Language evolves, but so does consciousness itself, reshaping the very nature of what it means to think, feel, and exist. Yet, the psychological burden never fully disappears. Even with adaptation, the sheer volume of conscious thought is staggering. The mind craves rest, yet rest comes with its own vulnerability. A fleeting moment of privacy that is rare and precious. Meditation, solitude, and isolation become revered arts, necessary for mental health in a world where transparency is absolute. So, what would you do if you could hear every thought around you? Could you survive the flood of honesty? Could you navigate love, friendship, and society without ever being able to hide a single intention? Or would the sheer weight of truth overwhelm you? This is a world where privacy no longer exists, where humanity is forced to confront the unvarnished truth of itself, and where every thought matters. Welcome to the reality of mind reading, a world both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a world you cannot escape, a world that will change everything you thought you knew about human nature.